right, people, how we feeling? No one's feeling good. I'm not. I'm not sure that anybody's feeling good. If you are feeling good, let us know. It's Tim here with Animal. Animal, how you feeling, man? Why don't you take the stage first here? Because we were talking off camera, and I don't think either one of us is all that happy about what we saw, and I know that we're not the only ones.
I mean, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of watching the turgid football that we've got on display against teams coming up against us in a low block. We've had the same problem since Fredrikstad right at the beginning of the season, and
Yeah.
Glasnow's not doing anything to change it. And it's coming to a point where you've got to ask yourself, if Glasgow isn't going to change anything, then do we need to change something in Glasgow? Because it's what that was terrible out there. It was turgid.
I mean, there's only a couple players that I would like to highlight, and I guess I'll highlight a third player. Pino isn't, he isn't at his best, but he comes on and he's at least trying. He's at least trying something. The free kick that he hits is awful. That was terrible. But he is trying, and he's trying to get into areas, and he's trying to turn, and he's trying to run. He comes short. That was a little bit different. Gesson got no time whatsoever. Like, he had no time whatsoever to influence the game. So what's he supposed to do? I felt for Strand Larson because he just didn't. I mean, they gave him nothing to work with. And when he did get the ball, unfortunately, he's trying to like tap the ball off to somebody else and like play a 1-2 with each other. And that never came off. The closest was when Munoz is in on goal, and that went nowhere. I mean, it was poor.
I think the setup from the get-go is wrong. I don't think we should be playing three at the back. I don't see why we're doing it. Whenever what they call Mostar were in our half, and we pick the ball back up. What we do is we play it in between Lacroix, Riyad, and Richards, and it's like we're waiting for Mostar to get all of their 10 outfield players back in their own half again. There's no urgency in our play at all.
Yeah.
And then what we do is if we manage to get it in their half with one of our central midfielders, say Kamada, say Wharton, then the best that they can possibly do is zip the ball really hard forward into one of our front three, and they have to either control it or they have to first time pass it off to somebody. Larson does that pretty well. He's looking for flicks because he knows that ball's coming in hot. So he knows that there's not a lot of opportunity to control it because 10 men in their own field. You haven't got the space to move, right? So he has to play that ball. Johnson can't control a ball like that. And he I don't know why he's not making efforts to do what Larson does and just try laying it off or flicking it or whatever. But the ball comes in too hot. And it's all of it is because we let them get all 10 of their outfield players back behind in their own half again. And we're playing against an incredibly congested Mostar half,
Yeah. We have some help in the background, and so for our back of the nest or behind the scenes here, if you could put in the link so we can get here we go. Yep. In fact, thank you very much. I'm just going to copy that in, and we'll get that in. Perfect. Read my mind. All right, I'm going to get that into the comments here, and let's see, just so you can come in and have your say if you like. But let's keep going here. Yeah, there we go. We've posted the link, so you can go ahead and click that and get in here. We're going to stay on for until around 9 p.m. UK time. Yeah, I agree with essentially all of that. I didn't think about whether or not back 3 to back 2 would help, but the thing I really wanted to see and where I thought it really hurt us, Animal, is like I thought Ismail Yassar was the only player really up until like Yeremy Pino comes on. I'm struggling to think of others who did this, who were just willing to take a player on. There were moments where Sarr was beating a player for pace and getting into space. To his credit, actually, Sosa did it like twice. I'm not saying Sosa had a good game. He did not. But Munoz didn't do it. I mean, who was doing it? Who's taking a player on, taking their defender out of the play, moving the structure around so you can get an open pass to get a shot on target? It just wasn't happening. Like, we're nowhere with players that can take somebody on and create space. That's a serious problem, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also I've seen there's somebody trying to stick up for Brennan Johnson in the chat. Look, it's not about him being played out of position. Like I agree, he's probably not in his in his
In
best
his
position,
optimal position, yeah.
in his optimal position. But he can't even control the ball. He can't control the ball. He's got no matter what position on the pitch you're in, if you can't get the basics of controlling a ball, passing it, making yourself available for both Riyad and Sosa, what are we doing? What is he even doing? I just don't understand. If we play him, in his natural position, which we have been, by the way, he has been in a more sort of right-sided area of the pitch. Because I don't think he's a winger. I don't think Johnson is a winger myself, personally. I think I don't know what to make of Johnson. I think maybe if he had a bit more physicality, he would be a player that'd be good up front. But then you lose a bit of speed if he bulks up a bit. I don't know. But look, it was terrible today. It was a really rough watch. A really rough watch. They looked better than us. They were using the ball better than we did.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree with that. And there were multiple occasions where they were in, and if they had maybe a bit more quality, I have to tell you, I think they scored 2 or 3 goals. Like, it's incredible that we did not lose that match 2-3-1. They had multiple chances to get in on us, and that says a lot. I thought Riyad for a lot of the game was decent, but the way he loses his marker for the goal animal is just, that does strike me as the mistake a young player makes. But I think also that's a mistake you don't make if you have your captain there. If Gay is there, we don't make that mistake. We end up with we need somebody who is going to marshal the troops on the pitch, get everybody in line, insert a lot of discipline. And if we need to do things differently, we'll change things on the pitch, slow it down, speed it up, do something. And it just wasn't coming off. So I like what I see out of Riyad, but man, that was very difficult, because that is a very avoidable goal.
Yeah, I like Riyad, and actually in the first half, for the most of it, he was looking pretty decent. But on the goal, he's getting pulled into the battle that should have been Richardson Lacroix. He's
right.
got to trust them to be able to do their job and keep on the runner, because he's never getting back into position. He's not the fastest of players, Riyad. So position is everything to a player like him. And unfortunately, he just got himself dragged in to getting involved with something that Lacroix and Richards should have easily been able to manage.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about. There's another player we need to talk about who I thought. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to describe his performance today. But I didn't think Adam Wharton had a good game, Animal. What'd you make of Wharton today?
I think we're not playing to his strengths when we come up against a low block. What is he supposed to do when we've got that much congestion in front of him? I don't understand what he's supposed to do. Look for the ball over the top. It's not gonna it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So when we're trying to find players, trying to find space, and all we've got is 10 players in front of us, eating up all of that space around us, I'm not sure what else Wharton is supposed to do. It was poor the way he lost the ball for that goal. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure what he's supposed to do. I think maybe Glasner's tactics, Glasner's setup for these games is making our players look worse, than they are. I think it all comes down to tactics.
Let's talk about that, because you said something in the watch along that I thought was interesting. You said it was all on Glasner, And the way you put it is, we were told coming into this game that they like to play a high press and they're going to come at us. And then we started watching the game. We're like, they're not doing that. They are at best sitting in the middle of the park and congesting the middle so we don't play through them. They're trying to force it out to the wings or force it into the channels or force it over the top, which, by the way, worked very, very well. Like, they did that extremely well. So none of it was what was expected. And then we didn't adjust to it. So
yeah.
I say a little bit more about this, because how much of this is on Glasner and unwillingness to change, and how much of it is just on some of the play we saw?
Well, I haven't actually seen the comments before the match where he says, "Oh, they're gonna be playing a high press, and this is why we're going to be playing Johnson on the left, and it's why we're going to have Sarr on the right." These are our pacey players that we use for teams that are coming at us, and we can counter them, and we've got pace to do so, and we've got space behind their defensive line, right? And I don't know who's told him that they're going to be playing a high press, because it was evidently clear from the moment the
Yeah, they were
first
not
whistle
doing
went that
that
they
at
were
all.
they were playing 5-4-1, right? And then as soon as the ball was in our half, and they're in possession in our half, two of the midfield four would advance, right, to create an attacking trio. It was their number 9 and their number 24 really that were the proper advanced players. But once we lose the ball and we've got, say, our front three in an advanced position, and we lose it, they've got the
Yeah.
numbers. They've got the numbers to then counter us, and obviously because we've got Sosa and Munoz in high advanced positions as well. So we're really relying on our back three to counter this sort of force that is Mostar, that is picking up the ball when we lose it and coming at us.
Yeah.
It's how we set up for the game, and to me, if someone has made Glasner think that they're playing a high press, then he's been done. They've had
Yeah.
him, they've taken him for a ride, and unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. Like, because if you fall into that trap and you say, right, if they're going to play a high press, then we're going to start this team, and we can start that, and then they play in a completely different way, then we're at a disadvantage, because anything we try and do to tweak, right, from then on, they can counter.
Yep.
It's like having the first hand it's having the first play in a hand of cards or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And we got overwhelmed in, that we got beat on the counter. I'm not sure how many times. I couldn't count, but it was at least 3. And there were significant opportunities to get in on goal and to put it on target. I mean, Dino makes a great save, by the way. What was, like, 75th minute or something like that? Gets right in on target, and that was a real problem. Let's talk briefly, and then we're going to let Nat in and start taking some other questions. Let's talk briefly about the VAR decision on handball. Did you think that was a handball? Did you think they were going to give the pen?
I thought it could have been given. I thought his hand was in a Maradona kind of position.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
in
I
an
know.
unnatural position. People saying that he got pushed in the back. I didn't see that. I saw their attacker going for it with his right foot, which I think is perfectly
Yeah,
fine to do.
Yeah, he's allowed to do that, right? That was what the ref said. Like, the ref gave us the signal. Like, he pointed that the attacker did push him and pushes him into position, and I guess that is the genesis of the handball, and so it's not given. I think we get a let off there. I'm not going to lie. I think we got a little bit of a let off there. I think it could have been given, and if it had been given, I don't know that I would have a really strong argument that that is entirely unfair, if for no other reason that Mostar was creating. I don't think it's unfair to say that Mostar was creating the best chances in that game. I think they did create
the clearer opportunities,
they had
and
the
that
clearer opportunities. Yes.
that just comes from how we're set up. Again, it comes from how we're set up, because if they have the clearer opportunities, and obviously we don't, it means that their end is congested and our end is not, because they have the space to get whatever kind of chance away at us. So it all comes back down to this: how congested their side is, and how easy to play through we were in some moments in that game. It's you've got to be honest. We think some of the things that they were doing it to us too easily.
Way too easily. I mean, they got out into the channels very quickly. They got out over the top. It was very disappointing. All right, let's take some comments here, and then we'll bring on Nat here. Let's see. Wouldn't want Postacoglu if I'm honest. Similar to Glasner, in his plan A. Plan A doesn't work, then more plan A. So the inflexibility of Postacoglu. We'll talk more about this, but maybe we'll get Nat on to talk about this. But go tell us in the chat here. There's a bunch who are going for Deitch, not much going for Frank, some going for Ange. We need to talk about that. But this was a very poor watch. It was a very poor game, and it is obvious the number one problem that this team has is it doesn't know how to break teams down consistently. There were some moments when we got in behind. I do think the chance where Sosa gets in and gets into the box, gets a cross in. If we don't latch onto it, it was very poor. We can't do anything with it. But there were moments. But we just are not showing up with players. I'm not going to say who can't beat a man. They're not trying, Animal. That is a problem for me. They're not trying to beat a man and get into the area. And at the very least, with wingbacks, like those are the players I expect to at least drive past a player, get into the area, and deliver a ball. I know it's not always going to come off, but at minimum on both sides of the pitch, I need to see that. And I'm just not seeing it.
I think if I'm going to throw my hat into the ring about these managerial options, I don't trust Big Ange. I think there are serious questions about his ability as a coach, especially his in-game management.
Yeah.
Sean Dyche, I think, is a damning indictment of where we are if we are thinking about getting Sean Dyche in.
Agreed.
And Thomas Frank, I like it more than the other two, and I'll tell you for why. Because when he was at Brentford, he had a mixture of playing 5 at the back and playing 3 at the back and 4 at the back.
Yeah, he is flexible, right? Isn't he?
He's flexible and he can adapt. And I think that Glasner clearly can't. Clearly doesn't want to move away from his from his system, and it's hindering us.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get Nat on.
Let's get Nat in here. So Nat, how you feeling, man? Talk to us. What'd you make of the match?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah. Well, it was poor, wasn't it? It was not fun to watch, and it was just really bad, isn't it? Like, there's got to be a change coming, otherwise we're stuck in this loop.
What change are you making? Are you sacking Glasner tomorrow, and then who are you bringing in?
Yeah, I'm sacking Glasner. I'm sacking Glasner. I don't know who I'd bring in, because that's the challenge, isn't it? You don't really have a lot of options. I've heard a lot of Ange Postecoglou. Not really the right one, is he? Considering he leaks a lot of goals. So I don't know who you bring in, but I would for sure sack Glasner. I'm sure they have a plan, because Glasner was going to go since October. So you've got to have a plan in hand.
You think who's on that short list? Go on, Animal.
It feels like none of us have a plan. It feels like Parrish doesn't have a plan. He doesn't know what he's going to do, like ever. It doesn't seem like Glasner has a plan B. He's got a plan A, but that doesn't seem to equate to when teams adapt, right? So he's not adapting to other teams.
Yeah, there's got to be a manager that can adapt and find what we want, what we actually should be looking at here, and maybe that's why people are calling on Ange Postecoglou, is someone who focuses on this Conference League, because that's the one you want to win right now.
Sure.
And that's probably why. But yeah, there's got to be a manager that can adapt, and I think everyone's found out Glasner, and that's why we should have him. Well, we should have him out on multiple reasons, but yeah.
Is he?
Do you know what? Sorry, Tim.
No, go.
Do you want to know something? I have a real problem with the idea that because somebody has won a European competition, that means that they can win you as European competition, right? So Glasner he won the Europa League, and somehow that means that he's our best opportunity to win the Conference League, when the Conference League is low block league, right? The Europa had a much higher caliber of team in there where his system probably worked. Look at Evangelos Marianakis, right? He drops Nuno's Espirito Santo because he's in the Europa League, and he goes, oh, well, Ange Postecoglou just won the Europa League. He's going to be perfect for my team. Brings in Ange Postecoglou, and he fails. Like he drops like a stone. I don't understand. It's really lazy to think that because somebody has won some European competition that he will win you one.
I'm not saying Ange, by the way. I'm just saying.
Well,
no. I wasn't applying that to you. I was just saying in general.
But I do have a question for you, though, on this, Nat, because right now we are a team that lacks a creative edge. We've got pace, got a bit of power with Strand Larson up front. Maybe JP comes back. So we've got some amount of physicality, some amount of pace, some amount of creativity in midfield, but not a lot of steel in midfield because we're going to play Kamada and Wharton. Those are not, there's no destroyers in there. We don't know when we're going to get Decore back. Who is the manager that can make the most of that team? That's a very direct team, not a very creative team. Gesson is probably the most creative in that side. And Sarr is at least trying. I give him credit for taking players on. But if you're going to play a system where you prize yourself on pace, you've got Pino, who maybe has a little bit of creativity. What are you playing? Do you go to what Animal said before? You go to 4-2-3-1, and you're just going to prioritize trying to get as many shots on target as you can possibly get. You just want to get more attackers into the area because you have nothing but direct players.
Yeah, I'm not playing the way we're playing now, for sure. 3 at the back isn't working anymore. That's a difficult question because when I look at managers, like I said before, I don't know. System-wise, I don't know. It changes, doesn't it? When you bring in a manager, you rely on them to be good at the system they use. Yeah. And it's basically down to that. So if whoever you bring in now, I mean, because they change players all the time. So whoever you bring in, you'll buy players for that manager. Yeah. So I wouldn't look at it as a situation like that. I get your point, but I just think there needs to be a change in this tough time we're having, and that we know Glasman's going, so why not now? That's all I'm looking at it like.
Animal, I'll give this to you. Is it, and I'll tell you how I feel, but I'm going to ask you, is it time for a firefighter and then a permanent manager in the summer? Or do you go for, because I don't buy the argument that Parrish and Matt Hobbs and that whole team, that they don't have a list of managers they've been looking at. I'm sure that they have a list of managers they've been looking at, some of whom may still be employed right now. But do you get a firefighter now and reset in the summer? Like, what do you do?
Firefighter is more than likely going to be Sean Dyche, isn't it? You know, and
I agree.
I just can't. As much as I hate the way we're playing against low blocks, I just can't accept that is our reality, I guess. But
yeah,
I think if Parrish and Hobbs and they've got this list of potential managers, then it isn't about, you know, not having someone that they can possibly bring in. It's about not having the balls to do what's necessary, see our situation, get rid of Glasner and make the call. I can't sit here in this room and make the call for Parrish. It's got to be him, right?
Right.
And the longer this goes on, the worse it gets, I think, because ever since post Sunderland game, it's just been a downward spiral, with the exception of a 1-0 win at Brighton. And to be quite honest with you, Brighton did not look good that day.
No, they were terrible. They were absolutely dreadful. All right, let me ask you this, Nat, before we let you go here. Wolves are Sunday. It's back home. 2 questions. First, how toxic is it going to be in the ground? And second, what do you make of that game? Like, do you think that is a game that we have to get 3 points from? And how confident are you that we can get 3 points from that game?
Well, I mean, if you watch today, looking at the upcoming games, and the next one, it's not great, is it? So I don't know. Wolves, they just drew to Arsenal. No, uh, I'm not looking at that with any hope, and I don't see where our next good game comes from.
It's an indictment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an indictment that you feel that way, and you're not the only one that feels that way. I'm just looking at Matthew Hayward saying maybe a billion% not getting 3 points. There's a lot of fear.
It's not good for us now. We need something change, and I feel like Steve Parish and Oliver Glasner are being very selfish in the way that they're going about wanting to stay. Well, Glasner wanted to stay here, and Steve Parish wanted to keep him because he doesn't want to pay the fee that he would have to if he was to fire Glasner, and I think it's ruining and upsetting a lot of the progress. Because when we won the FA Cup, there's a lot of progress you can make, and now it's just it's turned around so quickly, and it's so upsetting to see because that you knew you're going to go back to reality at some point, but that quick of a turnaround, it's not right. You need some positivity back, and you need a manager that can bring that. And looking at the upcoming games, I'm scared of getting kicked out, or not kicked out, knocked out Conference League because of that performance today. And I don't see us doing well in the rest of the Premier League. Although I do see us staying up, I don't think we're going to do well in the rest of the Premier League. So probably an awful season.
All right, Nat. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Cheers, Nat.
Day. We'll see you. We'll see you on Sunday. Hope to see you again here.
Thank you,
Tim. I'm going to grab some water quickly. Can you pull up that comment by Barry Anderson? I think it's an important one. Good one.
Yes. Yep. Will do. And I love this. So I do not know Pam Groves, Barry, but I think that Animal is gonna speak to this. But I love this comment. You said Pam's work with the disabled supporters at Crystal Palace Football Club made a great deal to me, and will always be grateful for their kindness and support. That's the kind of thing we love to see about the club. But maybe say a little bit more about that, Animal.
Yeah, I mean, it's at times like this, isn't it, when we lose important people to the club, people behind the scenes that that don't get the immediate attention and do so much for the club. And I not that I want to link it to how we're playing this season at all, but there needs to be some fight from us, some heart, so a reminder about the history of the club and what it means to us to be in the European competition. And I want to see some fight from these guys. And it's quite poignant to have something like this, come up at this time. And I think we need to be better, and we need to be better for the fans. We need to be better for ourselves. We need to be better for the club.
100%. This is one of I've said this before, but there are multiple reasons that I'm a Palace fan, but one of them is there's the heart and the community aspect and how connected the fans are to this. It's very different from anything. If you follow American sports, and I don't expect most people do, but if you did follow American sports, what you'd find is you don't see that. You don't see teams that are so deeply rooted in their community where the fan base is deeply connected to the club, and the way that the team goes and just the waves that we ride together is just deeply felt all the way through the club into the fan base. It's just not like that. You have really large multinational clubs, and there's some. It's not like it's not like that. There are some teams that have that kind of deeply fervent fan base, but usually that exists more at the collegiate level, university level, or the high school level, where it's rooted in the community. So it matters a lot. And it's very different. And I find that to be arguably one of the best features of this club. South London club, deeply rooted in the community. It's just it's a different vibe, it's a different feel, and the stakes are higher. And it matters. Like, it deeply matters to the people who follow this club. So yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, you want it matters. The results matter, yes. What matters more is the care, like that you really care. Like, there's probably the story when I first became a Palace fan, Animal, that most resonated with me and most really just like, wow, okay, never heard that before, is the 2010 team, in administration and players putting themselves on the line. I think it's for 6 months without a paycheck. Like, you go find me that. Like, that is crazy and impressive. But this is like what you're talking about. That's at the root of this club. And where is it? Like, where is it? We're just begging for that right now.
They those guys have been through the trenches together, and
right.
you forge amazing relationships when you go through something together. But at the moment, I think our players are better than our manager is allowing them to be, and I think that's a big problem. And I don't think that that's going to get better.
It's pretty sad, but let's see what Chris thinks. No, actually today, it's not Chris. It's bollocks today. It's pure bollocks today. Sorry.
It is.
What's going on?
Hello, gentlemen. Well, I'm trying to be objective about it all, but it's always difficult to be objective so soon after it. It is a draw. It's not the end of the world, apart from when you think about our home form. And the referee had the common sense to go, I don't even know what you're basically trying to get me to do here, what to look at on this screen. Sorry, I'm giving a free kick just to make a point. That was a really bizarre thing. And it went on for so long. And even before he sent to the screen, it just seemed like I just about at the end of my tether of the competition. And of this, when we've been demoted to, every time something good happens to us or bad happens to us, you had the Forest score flash up on the screen. And it just looking at this empty stadium being rebuilt, watching us play diabolically on this naff pitch when we could be in Istanbul tonking or trying to tonk Fenerbahce. Sorry, D. But instead we're finding ourselves in this mess, and it's so quickly collapsed. And I'm not including like what happened, with poor Pam in this statement, but we've lost a doctor, we lost a captain, the manager wants out, Kamada wants out. There's lists of backroom staff that have gone from like Dean Kiley, and it seems to have affected so many areas of the pitch in the way that Henderson plays. And so many times I expect him to come in the picture when they were launching it forward, and he'd instead retreated back to his goal. He didn't ever seem to be this glued to his line at set pieces and things like this. And everything's changed in everyone's game. A bit like Animals saying they can all do better than they are. Sometimes I wonder if one or two of them think they're better than Palace. I mean, so the first name I'm thinking of is Wharton and that. But then I look at Wharton, he's been running to the ground since he came back from his injury.
When you think about it, Chris, do these players, do they think that they're better than the club, or do they think that they're better than how the club is currently performing? Right? I wouldn't want to mischaracterize, that kind of feeling from these guys. Although I agree with you that I think it's easy to see players dropping their heads very quickly.
Yeah, and I think it's no coincidence when they've had a lot of confidence ripped out of them. But today, just to me, it seemed like Kamada's obviously returned from his injury too. Did a sensible thing if required a knock. But you think with Kamada and Wharton, they weren't really influencing the game very much towards the end there. Would it hurt to bring Hughes on or something? I don't know. Yeah. And in terms of what you're saying about their attitudes, you could see like when he was telling Munoz off at the final whistle, he just
that was. What'd you make of that? What'd you make of that, Chris? Because he did not look happy with Munoz.
No, in many ways, you'd rather I think the players are at the point where they don't even want to turn around and argue their case anymore. They're just like, oh fuck it, you're gone. I don't care what you think of me or what I did there. And it was daft that we didn't try and do a long throw at the end there, and then left it to Richards, who's to send it back to try and cross it. Definitely not his forte. Like, he was trying several times down by the corner flag to get crosses in and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You wonder what's the shape, what's the system, what's the plan now. There's so much that he's evaluating, and it just, I want to back him. I don't want it to end like this way with Glasner, but as the previous caller says, how are we going to beat Wolves? Wolves have got their act together. They've been better than Burnley over the last few months. And Burnley just beat us, having been 2-0 down at Selhurst Park, and they've come back and beaten us. So Wolves won't care if they went a couple of goals down to Arsenal, who are top of the league, and they're going to think, if we can get back against Arsenal, we can get back against Palace. That's presuming we do take the lead. And the contrast of that one compared to how we played Wolves last year, when it's just a big partying, unofficial war testimonial, to how we're all going to feel on Sunday. And I think that if you don't win that, is Glasner's got to go. And I feel like, you're right, it's like Dyche is the in case of emergency break glass firefighter thing. But we got to kind of save that for another time, I reckon, because we've used Roy, we've used Pardew, Pulis, Allardyce, all these professional people to get you out of trouble. I feel like we're going to need Dyche another time in the future, and it's a killer acceptance, even forgetting the Forest link of having Dyche, and like accepting, okay, well, we're second fiddle to Forest now. Taking that element out, and my still intense hatred for Forest and Marinakis, it's just accepting we're going to have to sit low. We're pretty much not going to do anything nice in Europe, not that we are at the moment, but we're not going to even attack in Europe under Dyche, really. Never mind winning a thing, and we're just going to stink the place out, but stay up, just about.
I just want I want a performance in Europe that I can be proud of, that we can be proud of. Look at Mostar today. I bet they're buzzing about how they played against us today, because they should be. And I want us to turn up in Europe, to present ourselves and say, look, this is our club. We're proud of it. And I've got to say, in the stream that I was watching today, we were getting slaughtered. We were getting slaughtered by the people in the chat, saying, I'm not going to repeat some of the things that they were saying, but they were less than complimentary about us. Let's say that.
Yeah. You can't blame them either. I mean, it was dreadful. I wonder, Chris, what you make of what Lou said here. You know, I've never seen the same pattern of play fail so many times in the last two games. This is the point that you were making before, Animal. Like, same thing, recycle it over and over and over again. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same thing again and again and again, and expecting different results.
It's the fact that we wait. When we regain possession in our half, we wait for them all to go back into their own half, and then do you know what we do? We feign this kind of interest, like this kind of, we're looking for something. Passes it to Richards, has a look, and so what are you waiting for? What are you looking at? There are 10 people in their own half now. What are you looking for? What runners are going to be able to do anything because they've got 10 people? Even if you do manage to control the ball, you've got 3 people around you at any position on the pitch.
Yeah, this is what's very frustrating about that to me is if you're going to use, and maybe Chris, you tell me if I'm wrong here, if you're going to use a system where your primary attack is pace on both sides, your primary attack is on pace. When you win the ball,
It's my.
Just go. Yeah, I muted myself because I got.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you just go, you run, and look.
Did you notice? Did you notice in the first half we were playing more long balls from like Hendo and Lacroix, and in the second half we cut that out. We were a little bit less about the long ball, and we were trying to play the ball on the ground, and nothing was working. None of it was working.
But I mean, that's the point, though, right? Like, and I'll let you talk here, Chris. But like, this is the thing: if you're gonna play that, if you're going to play with 2 10s who are known for their pace, then for the love of God, throw it into the channel. When you win it, just go. Like, I mean, it's not gonna always come off. You're gonna get called offsides. But you might get somebody in on goal, and you can at least, if you're going to do that, push them back, And at minimum, maybe you get 5 extra yards of space for Wharton.
Does anyone remember who it was? What team we were playing? I think it was either Glasner's first season or our second season, right? Where Dino picks up the ball in his box, sees Eza making a run on the left hand side, and just throws it out to him. And the ball's going ahead of him, so Eza can run onto it, and we end up, I think, scoring a goal from it, if I can remember correctly. But it was one of those things where you go, "Wow, I didn't realize Dino had that in him," you know. And ever since, we don't see this urgency in our play anymore to just get the ball up the goddamn pitch.
Absolutely. That's. But Chris, I mean, what else can we do here? Like, let's say, for argument's sake, we stick with Glasner. What's the solution here? Like, do we have to go to a back four? Or like, do we start, Gesand is somebody we're going to start up front, or start, like, what is the answer here? If not, what we're seeing right now.
I struggle to give suggestions, but I reckon that Glasner's got even fewer suggestions than I can come up with.
Yeah.
He's not going to change anything. And I think the players know it too. I don't like the phrase "lost the dressing room," but I think like someone like Sarr deserves credit because he's still been very professional in how he's playing.
Absolutely.
He's still at a good level.
He was decent today, right? Like, he was trying.
Yeah. But there's very few others that you feel like are anywhere near their best at the moment. Or even
I said this to Tim in the. Did I say this to you backstage, Tim? Surely the players have got to realise that this isn't working.
Yes. Yeah, you did say that. Yes.
But yeah, so talking about that 2010 team, I remember them saying, not 2010. I'm thinking of the promotion side when all the interviews,
nearly all of them agree. Team,
yeah, a lot of them agree that even though Holloway was trying to change it, they just went, "Sorry, we know what we know, and we're going to do what we do."
Exactly.
And ignore it. So unless the players just take ownership and go, "No, sod this. We're not trying this system anymore." And I'm not entirely sure that Hendo's a sort of skipper and a few others out there have the leadership to do it, and not trying to back up Gazza with that comment. But that's what I can see changing, is if they just go, "We're just going to have to ignore it because this isn't working, and we're sick of embarrassing our reputations and taking this football team to a relegation scrap and a whimper in Europe, but not, going out and whimper." So I can't see anything changing, and I do feel like it's inevitable if we can't beat Wolves, and I don't think that we will. That will have to be it. And the first game, the new boss will be that home tie to Mostar.
Yeah.
Scott Dan fan just said we play like England, just pass backwards, and it's hard to disagree that Glasner's kind of morphing into Southgate.
It is fascinating to me that the US team is playing a better brand of football right now than what we're seeing on a lot of continental teams. And the reason for it, like, Richards is the center back. He is the central center back in a back three for that US setup. But with Pochettino, pardon me. Hang on, I'll come back.
Jalapeno or Pochettino?
So I can't get Pochettino out of the throat today. What's going on?
I was about to ask. I think I made him recovers, but has Chris Richards ever played?
I didn't think this would be where Tim gets choked up about Team USA. But here we go.
Yeah, no. I mean, what I was saying is that they play a better style of with the wingbacks, like Scally, and when he's fit, Anthony Robinson, running, like, they are playing the way I want Palace to be playing. But it is very much a game where they play with some speed, and it's they've played much better. Now they're playing some fairly weak competition, so you can't really, look too much into it. But the style of play is much closer to what I want to see from Palace, and it's just very disappointing that we're just not getting it. Like, the way that team plays is run into areas, chase the ball, chase it down, be very tough in the middle, win the ball high, like how we played last year.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
It's really very, very frustrating. But Chris, if you just going into Sunday, and then we'll let you go. We'll get Owen on here. Going into Sunday, you feeling confident? You feeling not confident? Like, what do you think coming into Sunday?
I think it's going to be a real battle, and I don't know if the players are battling them or if Glasgow can get them back. I really hope he can. Of course I do, but I don't see it. And he's used every excuse he can now about, I don't know, depth on the bench, everything he's got. Like, he's got to take responsibility. The players don't even look fit anymore. But I was going to say about the US men's team is, firstly, did he ever play Chris Richards at holding midfield at all?
No, that was Berhalter. Berhalter would play him in that position when he needed to. But right now it's much more. It's funny that Yunus Musa is not playing in there. It's usually McKennie, and when he's fit, Tyler Adams are generally. Tyler Adams is the holding midfielder there. He's the destroyer.
And then my other thing about that was like you were saying about how we had like plan last season. We just looked explosive when we got the ball, and now it's a complete reverse. It's keep hold of the ball because they keep hold of the ball. And when we played Forest, when they had 11 men, especially when they had 10 men, the moment they came at us and they had a sniff of a counter attack, it was like a spring, like a record spring, just off.
Yeah.
And the same with Mostar. So teams have got us so sussed, and our centre back that looked quite lethargic. Luckily, Time did a very good bit of recovery for a 1-on-1. Sosa was pretty good actually today, but if that had been Sosa doing that clever bit of tactical last man, there's a possibility of a red or whatever else. But that didn't happen. Luckily, that's something, so that's positive.
Yeah,
I thought Sosa was crap today. I thought he was better than I've seen Sosa play, but that really isn't saying something. I still don't see. I don't want to hound on the player, but he made. Did he make a decent cross today? He did.
Well, I mean, at least
it's one or two through his entire career at Palace so far.
I mean, he makes the run into the box. Like, he's one of the rare players not named Ismail Yassar who makes a run into the box and actually creates something that we don't take advantage of. He gets a cutback ball that just goes into nowhere. So at least he did it, but he only, to your point, he did it once, and we really didn't see much of it again.
Even the ball he puts in for our goal, that was a deflection. Like it was curling further to the right, and it actually came off the back of a player. We got very fortunate with that goal. It could have not happened, and we could have lost.
It was a dreadful goal. It really was.
He's no Anthony Robinson, but he I think out of all the players, all the rankings today, he's probably in the middle performers. I'm not saying he was exceptional, as Animal said it, but by his hands, it was an improvement.
Yeah.
And Munoz and Mitchell are hardly reliable crossers, but I better jump off because obviously some of the fellas waiting. But
good to see you, Chris. Yeah. I mean,
Chris,
hopefully we see you again under better circumstances on Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be fine, of course. See ya.
All right, we'll see you later. All right, let's get Owen on here, and then we'll to close us out. Owen, you're like, I don't know even what to say about this. You're like sideways.
Oh,
so there we go. There we go. I mean, I thought you were like making a statement on the performance today. Is that what that was?
It's all gone sideways.
It's all gone sideways.
Yeah, clearly we were just awful today, weren't we? There's nothing really to say. Just lost the bat on the midfield. Slow going forward. It's just awful to watch, really.
What do you do?
Where are you? Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm in the pub. Just in the pear tree, actually.
Yeah, but what
do you do about it? What do you do about the situation?
Changing the manager, I reckon. But I mean, you can't say leave Wolves. See how Wolves goes from that. But formation change as well. The five at the back ain't working. It's just not right. But I think Glasner has to go now and change him before the end of the season. I mean, I want Frank in. I feel like Frankie's.
Tell me more about that. I'm not convinced me because I'm unconvinced by Thomas Frank. I'll tell you why I'm unconvinced after you, but convince me.
So take away the Spurs part of it, because Spurs, I think, is a shambles as a club. Any manager that goes there, it hasn't succeeded. So you can take away his Brentford. Brentford, he's brought up from the Championship, signing players from below and making them into better players. And I feel like a couple seasons ago where we were signing players from the Championship and like Eze, the Elise, come through and they performed there under there. And I think Frank has worked with that system before, signing players from lower divisions and working them up. And I feel like that will fit Palace as a club in general. But as a manager, I feel like he suits the club more than an Ange, than a Dyche as well. So.
Do you think Glasner is like a big club manager?
I feel like he's not an English game manager. I don't think he suits the English game as much as he does with the German, because he had a lot of success in Germany. I feel like the English game is a physical game, and I don't think he's adapted well enough to that rather than.
Well, the thing is that we're in the Premier League, especially, you're up against some very great managers, some high caliber managers, and if they adapt to you, you have to be able to adapt to the situation around you, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that has happened. You think end of our season we went on that run, unbeaten, and I don't know how many games it was, but a lot of games, and then started off decent this season and just fallen off a cliff. And it does come to that, I think, where the managers.
So this is interesting, right? This is interesting because when we started to decline, is that decline that we experienced, is that because of the injuries that we were suffering, therefore a problem of the squad depth? So is that down to Parish, or is this solely on Glasner for you?
I think it is a mix of both, because squad depth, you think of how many more games we've been playing with the Conference League as well, is going to take a toll on the players, and especially losing Eze at the start, massive player, and then losing Gay in January as well, just not replacing them it's just not good enough to not replace him, and it's just not. It's just a taking a toll on every other player, and it has gone down to the later stage of the season. It's just fallen apart and not signing.
Let me tell you why I'm unconvinced by Frank, even though I will concede that he is a bit more tactically flexible as a manager. The reason I'm unconvinced is he's been surrounded by an infrastructure that gets him a lot of players that he can play into different roles. He can do a lot of things, and he built something, but he didn't build something by himself. He got a lot of support from that Brentford team to sort of create a team that could do different things in different situations. And he had his hand on, he really did have kind of his hands to the pump, sort of figuring that out. So when he had time to do that, he really did prove to be an effective manager. He's not going to have that at Palace. He's going to be handed a team that plays a very direct style of football, and he's going to have to learn how to do something with that. And he got handed a bunch of players at Spurs, and he had to learn to do something with that, and he didn't. Now, I agree with you. They are as much of a clown car as we are right now, but like, I don't know that Thomas Frank can come in and do something with these pieces and build something that is inherently a usable, flexible whole. The argument, and I'm not making a strong argument for Postecoglou here. There's only two reasons I think you go for Postecoglou, and really 90% of one is he'll bring back Mia Jednak, and I want Jedi in the building. Like, that would be the reason. It's a bad reason. I can see that's a bad reason. The other reason, though, is that his style of football will open up space. It is incredibly attack-minded, and with the attacking players we've got, we will create space, but we may catastrophically leak goals at the other side of that. So I'm not really sure.
We've already seen what happens when we leak goals. We've seen it against Burnley, and 7 minutes for us to go from 2-0 up to 3-2 down is that's evidence enough for me that I can't have us leaking goals, because if we're doing it under Glasner, we're going to do it even more under Ange.
Yeah. And like South London forever. I get it. I'm not going to make a strong argument for Postecoglou here. I don't want us leaking more goals than we already are. But I mean, Owen, so talk to me about Sunday. What are you expecting? What do you want to see?
I mean, a win would be nice, and I think Wolves on their day can be quite good. But I mean, we can also be quite good. I just think they thrived against Arsenal. I think physicality wise, I think they built into the game against Arsenal, and it really brought them back into that game. But if you just manage the physicality side and outplay them on the pitch, which I know we can, we should win. But it's a must-win game in a way. But we win that game, push us up the league. It's the motivation to carry on.
Just to get some motivation towards the end of the season and some momentum going. It can't go on like this. It can't go on like this.
I mean, if it's so, South London forever is saying something interesting here. So give me as a last bit. So the argument here is for a firefighter, and you need a firefighter until you get to the summer. And by the way, I was not for that at all. But right now, I think we badly need a summer reset. And if you can't get the manager you wanted, who is on your list for the summer, if you can't get them right now, then a firefighter is it. I don't know who it is. That leaves like Allardyce. That leaves Deitch. I'm not sure who else. Maybe somebody in La Liga or somebody out in the Bundesliga who is a known firefighter. I really don't know. But who is it for you, Owen? Like, do you have somebody in mind? Bearing in mind that it ain't going to be Roy. Roy's not coming back.
I think keep Paddy into the end of the season. I mean,
Paddy.
I think,
okay.
Yeah. I think you keep him. I think I don't. I feel like if you keep Glasner a bit long to see if he loses against Wolves, I think that season gone. But if he wins and gets a bit of momentum from this, maybe it falls off in the last 6 or 7 games. Maybe you just give Paddy to the end of the season and see what happens there. Because I mean, it's just all up to the board and the higher ups to decide the manager. And I think I don't think they're going to be listening to what the fans are going to be saying when choosing the manager. I think it's all up to them. So
Well, to be fair, I don't know that I want them listening to us either, but because you do have to.
There are people legitimately, Ange Postecoglou is their first pick, and that guy is my last pick.
I don't really think I want the board listening to us, but at the same time, I do want them to be serious, and I want them to have a genuine plan. And if you can't sort what you need in the summer right now, then I think you have to go for a firefighter. But Owen, thanks for coming on, man.
Tough day. Thank you.
Yeah. Hope we see you on Sunday.
See ya.
All right. Sure. Let's close this out, Animal, and I'll give you a thought. He's more long term, not a firefighter, but somebody I would like to see ultimately, not this season, not even next season, but in the Palace system, who I have been very impressed by is Javier Alonso, the under-18s coach. I've been very impressed by what he has done with that team. I would like to see him at some point leave the under-18s team, take over the under-21s, maybe go take another job and come back, because I think that guy has a real future as a manager. But no way can you put him in the top job anytime soon? For me, if it's a firefighter, God help me, I just don't know. I don't think it's Deitch. I don't really think it's Allardyce either. So I
don't think Allardyce is taking any more jobs, is he? I think he's
probably not.
He's happy doing what he's doing. I don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, probably not. So like that tells me it's somebody else who can come in.
Why does it have to be a firefighter? Out of curiosity.
Well, because only if you can get your number one target, who you were going to hire in the summer anyway, hire that person. But let's presume that you can't, and you have, and your whole position was you needed to keep Glasner so that in the summer you could have a full reset with the manager that you actually want, because you couldn't get them during the season. That's the only reason for it. But if you can get that person, then maybe go do it. But this is really hard, and I don't like. I'm not going to call for sacking Glasner. The man won us an FA Cup. I want us to. It would be better if we could keep him until the summer, but I have to concede that things are not working.
Sack him. Look, I've been behind this since the post Sunderland game. Sack him. The position has become untenable. Right. I think that there has been a long running discomfort between Glasner and Parish. I think it's happened ever since the Europa League being kicked out of that. The not strengthening our squad to Glasner's his time specification, where he wanted players in early, and B, enough players and quality in positions where we need them. And I think he's just got on with it. And he's got on with it, and he's sucked on eggs for a few months, and then they sold Gay, and that was his last straw. And then he said, "F you, I'm doing this." Blah blah blah. Thrown the grenade in. Mateta sees what's going on. He goes, "I'm out as well," failing to realise that he's never going to get a move to Italy with his knee in the situation he is. Right?
Yeah.
And it's all gone tits up, and that's what you call untenable. He has to go. He has to go. And if it was me, I'd be bringing in my number one. And my number one is Roger Schmidt.
Is it? Okay. Roger Schmidt. So, say a little bit more about why. And we'll talk about Danny Roll, because Danny Roll is also getting a lot of shouts here as well.
Well, look, Danny Roll has only just recently taken over Rangers, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, and that's why I don't see it. Like, Rangers have seen an upturn in form. I just don't see that happening, even though I could understand the shout for it. But talk about Schmidt.
Roger Schmidt, former Benfica manager. I think he would be a curveball to the league. I think when you have Sean Dyche come in, people know what to expect. And I think that everyone in this league has got, is trying to figure each other out, having everybody's number. And I think having Roger Schmidt come in would be exactly the kind of curveball that people don't expect us to go for. The other one would be, there's quite a few people that like Jose Bordelas.
From Getafe.
Yeah, Getafe. And kind of anti-football. I'm not sure the fans would, after a while, probably take to it so well. But I think these are curveballs, and I think that's what you need to do. I think you need to do something that the rest of the league don't expect. There are some very smart managers who clock a lot of our managers, and they adapt to each other. And when you've got Glasner not adapting, because who knows, Glasner could field a team that plays a good game against a top 6 team, because it better suits the style that Glasner wants to play. And I don't want that to happen, because I don't want Glasner to still be in the job, because we have to be able to break down low blocks. We have to be able to be adaptable. And like South London Forever is saying, it's sabotaging us.
I really do think this is where I agree with that. Is I thought his comments, pre-Sunderland and post-Sunderland, really, really hurt us in the window. I thought those, and you could have very easily seen him just be like, "I'm sorry, that's it. You're out. We're done." And I don't know why we chose to make that decision, But since we've chosen to make that decision, it feels to me like you stick with it unless it is, like what you said, is untenable. And we are careening towards that right now. So it's very difficult. I wish I had a great answer for if he did go, who was the right person for it. But the football we're playing is nowhere near good enough. And I am deeply, the thing that concerns me the most, Animal, and maybe we'll end on this, is that I can't tell you who right now out on the pitch in the middle of the game can sort of stop the rot when things aren't going well and just rally the players and say, hang on, stop. Yeah. We're going to change and do the following things to just reset. I don't know who that is. I know who it was. I know it was Mark Gay. I know when Jednak was playing with Palace, I know he was that guy. We've had that guy. I think the closest is Will Hughes, and he ain't on the pitch. I know that Maka used to be that guy. I know Joel Ward used to be that guy too, honestly, at times. Like
I think what you're describing, right, isn't, I think that there's slightly wrong terminology within it where you say somebody who comes in and just gets us to reset. I don't think resetting is what needs to happen in these moments when we're failing to break teams down. It's taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah,
it's saying this is what we're going to do. We're going to
get them up, and get in it. Yes,
we're better than this. We're going to drive us forward. We're going to get catch them on the break. We're going to get the ball forward. We're going to, because what are we? It is so depressing. It's so depressing watching Lacroix to Riyadh, back to Lacroix, to Richards, to Wharton, who passes it back to Lacroix, who sends the ball out to Richards. Richards takes it a few steps, stops, turns around, gives it back to Lacroix. It is so annoying. It is. I can't watch this football anymore. I remember a Simpsons episode where they're portraying a team playing against each other of football, and it's kind of like a diss about English football, and it's literally just pass, where they're taking the piss out of what we do.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. And it oh man.
Yeah.
It's soul destroying.
Yeah,
people are calling out for flair players, and it's like, it's not just about, because I'm cautious to say, we need to be playing Gesson because he's the most creative player. I don't think he is the most creative player. I think he was quite fortunate to set up Sarr's goal. I think he's going to be a better dribbler than probably anybody else in the team. He can take men on, right? But we need to be cautious about pinning our hopes and dreams and our resurgence in this league on one or two players. This is about how we set up from the beginning, because we're not giving these players the best opportunity to show what they can do.
Yeah. I don't know if that's Rich from Eagle-Eyed Football, but there's Rich, the link is up at the top of the chat. If you want to join for a few seconds before we close down, and we'll bring you on.
Be interesting to see what the Eagle-Eyed boys think about that.
Yeah, because I and it's just like, we'll just say we are awful. And I where I want to just highlight what you said there, which is important. I think you can't understate what you just said, which is, it does not require, like, you don't have to be tricky and have a flick in you, and just kind of playing with flair in order to get around a player. Ismail Yassar proved that today. You just have to have the willingness to get in front of a player, take him on, and take a shot. Like, just you have to have the willingness to attack. And he is the rare player that I saw really attacking today, and he could have done it a lot more, to be honest. So I think your point is really well taken there. Say that again.
Can you resend the link in the chat?
I believe I can. Yeah, so we can get it would be great to get Rich on here. Or it might be Nikki. I don't know. But let's see here. I'll put this in. Post comment. Yeah. Come on and join for a second if you can, because I want to hear what they what they have to say. See if it's Rich or Nikki. I'm guessing it's Rich. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, I agree with that. That's my point. Like, you must have the willingness to attack. Like, you can attack from really any position. You could use your pace. You could use some guile. You could play off of another player. Yeah, here we go. All right, let's get Rich in here. Rich, how you doing, man? Terrible. It's brutal. It's brutal. So how did the watch along go? Did you guys have the meltdown that I was having?
We just started talking about other stuff.
Yeah. I was saying to my missus while the game was on, I was like, I don't even I was getting up and helping her with the dinner in places, and I was just saying, I don't even have to look at the game to know what is going on, to understand, like, we're trying to do the same thing over and over again and failing. And if you pin up Darren Goodrich's comment here.
Yeah, let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Yep.
I know that teams play football and a part of that is passing, but it's about when we're deciding to do these things. So when we're picking up possession again in our own half, what we're doing is passing it between Riyad, Lacroix, Richards, and Wharton,
right?
And we're waiting for them to get back into their own half, and when we should be playing it out much faster than we're doing and catching teams on the counter, and that's not what we're doing, unfortunately.
And you know who we're playing like? We're playing like Arsenal are playing. This reliance of trying to just play it around and stuff, and this is why Eze's struggling there. And we've fallen into that same trap. We're not playing quick enough. Like, I know Johnson's getting a lot of stick, but what on earth can he do?
Yeah.
What can he do? We're not playing
agree with that.
any of his strengths.
Because I listen, I went hard on Johnson at the beginning of this stream, but I also made the argument not long after is that we're not playing to any of these boys' strengths, because as soon as we get it in their half with, say, Wharton or Kamada, the best that they can do is either put it over the top or zip it in really hard low on the ground, and all you can do with that is try and control it, try and maybe flick it off, and it's silly football we're playing. Silly football. For you, Rich, is it about system managers? Have you had enough of system managers? The Guardiolas, Artetas, and Glasners of this league. Yeah,
it's really ruined the game. Look, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that we've not benefited from this system change ourselves.
Yeah.
However,
sure,
we pride ourselves of just having exciting players on the pitch. That's the South London Crystal Palace way. I don't know what player on that pitch gets me off my seat anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying that. Do you think that
to be fair, just quickly, to be fair, I did think Sarr was trying. I understand your point, Rich, but he was trying. He was the only one that was trying to drive into the area, take on a man, and actually produce something.
The thing is
I'm going to add two more players to that, because I know I've given this player a lot of stick, but I think Bono Sosa tried today, and I've heard a lot of people not agree with me, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I did too.
Mitchell is the better player. I'm not disputing that, but he did try today. And the other one is Riyad. Riyad was brilliant.
I saw effort. I did see effort from Sosa, but I don't see quality, and that's the problem.
Which I agree with. In the past, I've not seen effort or quality. So at least I can say he tried. He did try today.
I think we're not facilitating the right environment for our players to do well at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Gesson can take it, past the player. Sarr can knock the ball fast, past the player and run onto it. But, as long as we're playing the way we are and we're playing through into a congested half, we're not going to be seeing the best out of these players. And it's really unfortunate, because I really like Strand Larsen. I like the way he has the potential to link up with our two tens, and it's looking like if we can just change it a little bit, then there's something there. It's just we're not unlocking it.
Yeah, him himself, he's got 2 goals and an assist in 3 games. Yeah. That's incredible, considering our poor run of form. But this goes down to Glasner. We can't have Sarr and Johnson because they're the same player. It doesn't work.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this? These comments pre-match where Glasner was saying about, oh, they're going to play a high press, and this is why we're playing Johnson and Sarr, because that's clear.
I didn't even hear the pre-match stuff, but if he said that, his scouting's all wrong. They were never pressing. They were never going to do that.
I said in the watch along that if that's what has happened, right, then Mostar are twiddling their mustaches, going.
No, absolutely.
How can you just trust that? Oh, they're going to play a high press, and then they come out and they play that.
I don't. Like, so let's be clear. Let's be clear. I did hear that, but I didn't hear it directly from Glasner. So let's assume that I got that wrong. But
okay,
I don't know. It didn't come from nowhere. And
listen, if they're the point is,
I'm very frustrated by it.
The point is that if they are playing a low block, then those are the wrong players to play anyway. So even if he did assume that it was going to be a low block, then he's playing the wrong players.
Yeah, I don't think, regardless
Max
of who
is
we're playing,
that he did say that.
Yeah, we cannot be playing Sarr and Johnson. We can't, unless we're playing Man City. Yeah. We need. This is why and funny enough, I know people complain about the window, but now we've got Sarr and Pino, and then we've got Gesson and Johnston. We've got options. Play one of each profile, and it gives us more balance. Can we speak on Adam Wharton, because I'm concerned?
Okay.
I think for the last couple months,
I asked about this a bit earlier. So Rich, talk to me about what you saw from Wharton, because I thought he had
he was poor.
So Animal and I are somewhat different on this, but I did not think he had a good game.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And going to what Animal was saying earlier about us trying to click those balls over the top. Yeah. After the third time it didn't work, sack it off. It's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. I mean, his losing the ball for the goal was bad. Then he's missed his controls off, misplaced passes. He's not been himself over the last couple of months. Yeah. Another factor is, why on earth is Hughes not playing any football?
Yeah, it's a great question.
This is mental. Glasner, I know Glasner wants to be out. He wants to be sacked because he wants his money. He should have been gone a long time ago, by the way.
So are you Glasner out now? Is that where you're at?
I've always been, like, since his comments, I've said he's got to go. But I knew the board weren't going to sack him financially. So I'm going to have to stick by him because I want what's best for the club. But what's best for the club is he's got to go.
It's not going to cost us much to get rid of Glasner.
It isn't,
right?
And that's why I don't understand why
it's the remainder of his contract. Yeah.
Now I'm thinking to myself, he's going to get Wolves. Like, that's going to happen. And he's most likely going to get the return leg against Mostar. But I don't see us beating Wolves. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Do you know why I don't take Wharton off? Do you know why I wouldn't have taken him off against Burnley, and why I would sort of persist with him? Because that ball over the top to Strand Larsen against Burnley, that can happen at any time in the game, and he's the only one. He's the only one that can make that happen.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But I'm very concerned that he's not playing well. And when we were saying in the watch along, he's trying to get into this World Cup squad, right?
Yeah.
These are the games he should be taken by the scruff of his neck, and saying, I'm going to dominate this game. And he's not doing it.
No, definitely not.
That player that we were talking about earlier to say, I'm going to take this game by the scruff of the neck, I want that to be Wharton. I want that to be him, because if he's half the player that he thinks he is and that we think he is, he should be showing it. He should be showing it. And I think if anything, he and the other players understand what has happened since January. I think they all understand it, and the heads drop really easily, really quickly.
Yeah. So Rich, and another observation, sorry, Tim.
Yep, go ahead.
When we conceded that goal, and this goes back to the whole captaincy thing, I did not see any players screaming or kicking or shouting. Someone should have been in Wharton's ear, like, what on earth was that? It's almost as if, like, oh well.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
We've got a losing mentality right now, and it's not going to stop until we get that together. And I think we need to set Glasgow for stars.
Wharton is not the only one who's responsible for that goal. I thought Riyad played quite well, but him losing his marker the way that he did for that goal was I know he gets pulled centrally.
He has to cover though, Tim. He has to.
Well, does he? Because if he doesn't, like he has. I mean, Rich, he doesn't even turn his head to look for his marker until it's too late.
But
I don't
the
know.
shape of our complete shape was off because we lost the ball in such a stupid area.
Yes, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Let me be clear. Wharton is responsible for putting us in that position, but it was just a little sad because Riyadh, I thought, was quite good for much of the rest of the game. Let me ask you, Rich. Oh, go ahead, Animal. Go on.
It was just that one thing, I think, with Riyadh. It was that one thing where he's decided to come centrally and help out Lacroix and Richards. Lacroix and Richards are an FA Cup winning defenders, right?
Yes.
They should be able to deal with that situation on their own, and Riyadh doesn't need to come and help. I think at the back, they don't seem to be trusting each other enough. Now that Gay's gone, there's a lack of confidence in their ability to play together.
There's no synchronicity between that back three at the moment. So let me ask you, Rich, like two things. Sunday, how are you feeling for Sunday? And then, I mean, a lot of people are feeling that. And then second, like, who is it if Glasner does get sacked? Who is it for you? And is it what we've been debating is, does it need to be a firefighter where you come in the summer and then you just start over, new plan, new manager, or do you try your best to get the permanent manager now if he does get sacked? Like, what is it for you? You said you need him to go, so who is it for you?
So to answer the first question, and I hate having to do this, but I've already looked at the teams around us and the fixtures they've got. Outside of West Ham, the teams around us, fingers crossed, should be dropping points.
We hope so. Yes,
we hope so. But this is how bad we are. Like that, I should not be having to look at other clubs, to be honest. So with that in mind, I think we'll get a point if that. Like Wolves have not been bad recently, they've not been bad since the turn of the year, and they're giving teams problems. It's just maybe they might not finish their chances, and so on and so forth. We haven't looked good, especially at home for one, and two, especially after a European game, we've not looked good. To your second question, I have no idea, because yes, I want him gone, but who takes over? What, Paddy?
That's a question, right? It's a question.
That can backfire. Anything could backfire. But to be honest, I would rather take the risk of it backfiring than not take the risk at all, because right now we're sinking.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wolves have got nothing to play for but their pride, and that's going to be dangerous because we're not playing with we're not putting out prideful performances.
Absolutely, because I think the lowest total was 11, right, with Derby.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's the
record. They just need one win, and then they could think, all right, we've done what we've done. We're not going to be the worst relegated side.
Yeah, that's true. They're playing for that not to be on that record, aren't they?
Yeah. Right. I mean,
however, and saying that with Wolves, if they go down, bring me Mane, bring me Mosquera. Those two players have been brilliant for them.
Mane has been absolutely sensational, hasn't he? So Matthew Hayward saying this, I can't find any comments from Glasner. If anybody has more comments from him, just said we have to be self-critical. It's like Burnley. So I don't know what that means, but
I hope self-critical means he's blaming himself too.
This is the thing, Rich. He didn't seem to take a lot of blame for Burnley.
He did. He took none. No responsibility.
Yeah, and that was troubling. So Matthew saying it's on the CPFC page. I'm looking for it. Let me just see if we've got it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you some comments here for both of you. Let's see. He said, we expected a very difficult game. So what we expected seemed like a very good start into the game, and then we lost a little bit of the directness toward their goal. We controlled it, but we were not really dangerous. We took the lead before halftime. But then, as I said before the game, we were missing consistency over 95 minutes, and it was the same today. We were controlling the game, then making easy mistakes. Zrinjski scored, and then it's football, so they get the belief back. The crowd was back, and it was tough. We were a bit unlucky, but on the other side, we were vulnerable in transition in 2 or 3 situations. They did that well. So it's halftime now, and we have to sort it at home at Selhurst.
The crowd was back. Half that stadium was missing.
We played well for the first 15 minutes of the first half and the first 10 minutes of the second.
Of the second half. Yeah, I agree with that.
And most of us should have scored 4.
Yeah, they were very dangerous. This okay, I'm going to say this one is this one's a little bit infuriating for me. Okay. In the attack, we could see a misunderstanding a few times. You think? It's completely normal, and I mentioned this when I first came to Palace. It takes a little bit of time for the players to get to know each other. I'm sorry, I'm not having this anymore. I'm sorry, Rich. I'm not having this anymore. Like, I'm sorry, you can't sell this to me anymore. This feels like, I know you remember this because we were there and we did this halftime thing during the Seaweed 4-1. I remember that, and we were all pissed. And I remember coming on and saying this and said, like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like, that is not what I want to hear. I understand that his system requires some rhythm, but give me an effing break. You just had 11 days. You had 11 days to get ready for this. No, I'm not having this, Rich. I'm not having it.
Agreed. Not having it whatsoever. It is a load of tosh.
This is going to be the fastest fall from grace I think I've ever seen.
I can't believe this. That is terrible. That is absolutely terrible. It is. I'm sorry to say, it is a bit depressing here. What would you do, Rich? Let me ask you this, and then we'll go, Rich, and maybe for both of you. What changes do you make for Sunday to drive? Because you need a result, right? You need a result, and really, you don't need a draw. You need a win. You need 3 points. What changes do you make to get 3 points?
I'll keep the back. See, he's not going to change formation, so let's just put that out there. So keep the back 5 as it is. Obviously, bring Mitchell back in. Go Hughes and Wharton.
Okay.
And then go Gessand, Strand-Larsen, Sarr.
So mix it up in the front 3. You get a different profile than Sarr.
You need a mixture. Because they're going to play the exact same formation. That's what they've been doing as well.
Yeah. Animal, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen enough from Kamada to justify his starting position at the moment. It's such a shame because before the injury, I think he was a very important player, probably one of the first people on the team sheet. And it's just ever since he coming back from injury, he's not got back up to speed quick enough for me. So yeah, I need to see Hughes. I need to see fight in that midfield, and I think Hughes will bring that. And Gessand and Sarr, I don't think you can do any worse than that, or any better than that, or any worse than that. And Pino, I think, needs to be considered as well. I think the Johnson thing is
it's not working.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, it's not working at the moment. All right, look, that went longer than I thought, but there's a lot of feelings, and we have to get our feelings out. That's infuriating. I have to say, I like this manager. I want him to succeed, but honest to God, you've lost me there. You've lost me, Oliver. I'm really tired of hearing that your system requires intricate understanding. I'm sorry, like that's just enough is enough on that. I can't have that as an excuse anymore.
Yeah, the only saving grace is that after this round, the teams that we face suit us a lot better. That's the only saving grace.
Well, we got to get to that, Rich.
We've got Tiller with Earth saying Johnson right wing or up front. We don't even play right wing. We don't play right wingers.
Nah.
Yeah.
And he's not doing anything, in these 10 positions. He's playing, I think, too narrow. I don't think he's got the physicality to play that narrow, Brennan Johnson.
Johnson will only thrive when we go back to 4 at the back.
Or when we are literally starting to play for transitions again. We give the ball away, and we are playing for transitions, and we are running into channels again.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably 4 at the back. But
one thing I will say, sorry, Tim. Sorry. One thing I will say about Tiller is that I see Brennan Johnson probably is going to be better for us if we played him as a substitute up front, you know?
Probably.
Because I think if we're playing against a team where we've got a bit of space in behind, then Johnson can use his pace, and you know we can find him. If Wharton can find Strand Larson with the ball over the top, he can find Johnson.
I'm all for it. If you want to play Strand Larson behind Johnson, I'm all for it to stretch the play. I'm all for trying it. I'm all for trying anything. All right. Thanks for being.
Oh.
It's a mess, but this is what this community is for, so we can get our feelings out. Rich, are you going to do a match reaction for Eagle Eye football tomorrow?
Can't be bothered.
Yeah,
there's nothing more to say.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you one bit. Thanks for being here, man. All right, we'll see you again for Sunday. There is a watch along on Sunday. God help me, I'm going to do it again. so pray for me.
Listen, a big thanks to Tim, man. You take time out of your day to do this, and we love you for it. You come in, you fill in. It's much appreciated.
I mean, I love this community, so no, it's my honor. So, look, we'll do it again. Always up the Palace. Always. As frustrating as they make it for us.
I'm at the game. Oh man.
Up the Palace.
Up the Palace. We'll see everybody.